We're in conversation with Mr. Jayant Chaudhary, the Union Minister for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So thank you very much for talking to Moneycontrol. Take us through your meetings at World Economic Forum in terms of stitching together partnerships in skill development, entrepreneurship.
So, in skill development, we already have mechanisms, G2G. So we've had meetings with the ministers of those countries where we have mechanisms to review progress. And of course, many meetings with corporates who either want to invest in India or who already have a significant presence, asking them to collaborate and cooperate with our government flagship schemes.
Right. And what does India Inc. need to do, sir, in order to skill the labor force? Are they doing enough in skill development?
I think the whole challenge right now is that a large part of our workforce has to reskill and retool themselves for the new tech that's coming. And that retooling can only happen if industry also invests in their own workforce. And in the medium to long term, it always adds value to your balance sheets. That's the conversation I'm having with all the big corporates, and they understand it very well. You retain your workforce, you're training them, they're adding more value to your bottom lines. And in the competitive environment that we are in, India is emerging as a platform, as a center for R&D, for innovation. All of that is only possible if your employee and your workforce can actually adapt and can be resilient. Indian workers have shown excellence wherever they are, wherever in the world they go. They've taken leadership roles, and the growth of GCCs in India also shows that the world, the global economy is also looking to India for leadership. So it's very important that Indian corporates invest in their own workforce to reskill, upskill, continuously engage, and establish the concept of lifelong learning.
Right. A lot of AI leaders globally believe that India presents a huge opportunity because of our talent. Are we ready for an AI world? Because there's also concern that, this could displace white collar jobs. So are we doing enough to ensure that engineers are trained in these new technologies?
When the IT revolution came in, computers came in, before that, maybe industrial revolution, there were perhaps concerns raised at that time as well. That's all I'll say. When there's a new technology, you cannot stop society from evolving, from adapting. Faster, stronger, that's the mantra of us. That's what makes us human. So therefore, we just have to adapt. This is the system. And you cannot stop it. India alone has to be at the forefront, at the cusp of any new technology that comes in. And we already are. 16% of the global workforce in AI, with AI skills, and there's a whole stack of them, from beginning, intermediate to when you're a developer, creating new products. We are there. 16% are Indians.
Right. So whenever we speak to economists on India's GDP and what the magic bullet can be, one perspective that's come out is it has to be more and more jobs, which in turn will create sustainable demand and improve the consumer sentiment. What can we do to improve the pace of job creation?
Actually, with India and the data sets that we work with, when you analyze the economy, state of the economy, growth, they don't capture the full picture. So there's a whole huge informal economy. And what the government is doing slowly but surely, it's having a measurable impact in terms of conversion of those informal workers to give them social security benefits. Whether it's e-Shram, or it's the new schemes that were announced in the previous budget, where you're linking EPFO accounts, you're giving incentives for new employees to come in. It's a PM internship scheme, where you're saying young people who have never had a job, they should get a red carpet entry into the 500 top corporates of the country. So these are all pathways where younger people can then establish themselves, learn what are the skills required, engage with the skilling ecosystem, tool themselves appropriately, and get a job.
Right. So if I look at the last union budget, it had earmarked 60,000 crore for skilling and upgradation of ITIs to impart skills training to 2 million students in 5 years. How much of that has been deployed in the current year? What has been done to upgrade ITIs? And what are your expectations from the upcoming budget? Will this continue to be a major focus thrust area for the government?
The ITI upgrade scheme is still in process because it's a complicated scheme. We get all the industry feedback, speak to all the states, because the center is spending 30,000, but 20,000 crores has to come from the states. 10,000 crores is to be raised from CSR. So the whole idea is that when you upgrade these ITIs, there should be centers of excellence completely mirrored to the local economies, to the MSME industries, to the industry clusters. If there's a big company there who's manufacturing, providing a service, they should feel that this is our institution. That kind of strong affiliation, and they should be designing curriculum, they should have a say in the management of the institution, they can train the trainers. So that is the kind of depth that we want to build this scheme with. So I think we're still rolling it out, but it's very aspirational and it will have a huge impact because ITIs have a huge footprint, and the schemes, the diplomas that those students undergo, the programs that they training that they get is still respected in industry. 15,000 ITIs, and every year about 2.5 million of our young people are coming through that system. So therefore the footprint is huge and it will have a big impact on the skilling ecosystem.
Right. The other thing that I wanted to ask you lastly, sir, was that, we recently marked 9 years of Startup India. So as the Minister for Entrepreneurship, what else can be done to improve the ease of setting up a startup in India? The good news is many startups are flipping back to India from countries like US and Singapore. But what else can be done?
Well, we used to call it brain drain.
Yeah.
That's also a term that I don't really agree with, because wherever Indians go, they establish themselves and they stay connected to their roots. They're repatriating money and providing know-how. But yes, you're right that a lot of talent is coming back home, and that's a great sign for the Indian economy, because they provide a whole global experience, and that can help our smaller nano entrepreneurs to upskill themselves. I think on the startup ecosystem, organically, and with the government's efforts and all the parallel schemes that are being done, you removed angel tax, you got a startup mission, Prime Minister motivates all those young entrepreneurs on every opportunity he gets. I think it's having a visible impact. The statistics tell you that 80 new startups are registered every day in India. This is in a slowing down with the geopolitical concerns, slowing economy, global economy. Even despite that, there's a vibrancy to the Indian startup ecosystem. But I do see that, speaking to a lot of those entrepreneurs, that there are still concerns about the funding, the VC setups, the institutional mechanisms to help them go to the next level. So even though we have a very vibrant stock market, even the middle classes today, global pension funds, institutional investors are very bullish on the Indian stock market. And that's how a lot of these startups are getting exits. You see a lot of IPOs coming in with smaller industries coming out, and those investors who back them are getting an exit, and that visibility is very important. But still, I think the whole funding ecosystem for those nano entrepreneurs needs to be strengthened.
Right. Thank you very much, sir, for talking to us. Thank you.